7 News at 6 starts right now.
Coming up on 7 News at 6.
I took a call that no chief or sheriff ever wants to receive with a message that no one ever wants to hear.
Well, that officer in there was a husband and a dad. This time I lost a friend.
A final ride as Officer Jason Harris ends his watch.
You see, we wanted Jason to stay here with us. I get it. I did too.
Called to serve his community.
The personification of the slogan, the pursuit of excellence, had died doing what he loved for the city that he loved.
Called home.
Love people God gave you because he would need them back one day.
I don't care what kind of badge you wear, you're my family.
From 7 News Carolina's family, our thoughts and prayers are with Officer Harris's family. 7 News at 6 starts now.
This is the last call for radio number Alpha 3. No response from Alpha 3. MPO Harris. Alpha 3 is out of service after 12 years and 8 months of police service. Although you are gone, you will never be forgotten. Rest in peace, my friend. Time is 13:22, April 19th, 2017.
And good evening, and thanks for joining us. Brothers in Blue shared the inside stories that we don't usually hear today. Some of them rather funny nicknames of Pringles for an officer who once misfired a bullet straight through a can of chips.
They described him jokingly as pretty, but seriously as an officer who time and again volunteered to put himself in harm's way. His 3 children knew him as Dad, always putting them and their mother Amanda first. To us, he is Master Patrol Officer Jason Harris, a man who died in the line of duty. And tonight that officer's watch is finished, as he's remembered by hundreds here at home.
Harris died in the hospital after a motorcycle crash as he responded to a burglary call last week. Today, he was laid to rest after a funeral service at a packed First Baptist Church in Spartanburg. 7 News reporter Brianna Smith was there and joins us now live. Brianna?
Diane, 1,400 people filling these pews today from all across the country, making sure that Officer Harris was remembered as not just an officer, but a father as well.
Put me in, Coach.
4 words embodied the spirit that Master Officer Jason Harris brought to the Spartanburg Police Department for 13 years.
The personification of the slogan, the pursuit of excellence, had died doing what he loved for the city that he loved.
Jason was remembered as a father.
Madison, his dancing partner. Samantha, who shared some great stories with me. To son Alex, that will carry on his father's name forever. We mourn with you.
And celebrated for the quirks that made Jason, Jason.
Who was this MPO Jason Gregory Harris? This pretty little man that was always running around smiling and polished. And he was pretty. And if you don't believe me, all you had to do is ask him and he'd let you know.
A room of peacemakers gathered from across the country to celebrate the homegoing of their brother that also wore a badge.
I implore my people each and every day to go out and make a difference and make it home. How Jason made it home.
And reflected on a phone call that reminds those in uniform of the sacrifice that they signed up for.
You see, we wanted Jason to stay here with us. I get it. I did too.
The streets of Spartanburg have lost an officer, but the community has been charged not to forget Jason's passion to keep you safe.
And let us honor Jason's life and his memory by remaining resolute and dutiful in our service to others. Love people God gave you because he would need them back one day.
There was not a dry eye in the house today as Major Art Littlejohn got up there and spoke not just about his co-worker who he worked next to for nearly 13 years, but also his friend. And I think that it was really a healing process today as they got to start speaking about who that officer was, not just that you saw dressed up at Dickens of a Christmas or out here as they stopped in to talk to businesses every day, but that officer that was that friend and that officer that was that dad. And, you know, it really resonates to every person that was in here today in that uniform, that this is the sacrifice that they can give. I'm live in Spartanburg tonight. Brianna Smith, 7 News.
Yeah, terrific words from those community leaders. Thank you, Brianna. We continue our coverage with how the community is coming together to honor Officer Harris. 7 News reporter Laura Thomas is live in Spartanburg tonight with more on that community support. Laura.
Yeah, Tom, for days people have been coming here to the Spartanburg Police Department to leave their messages for Officer Harris and his family. And today, many more people showed up all over the upstate to pay their respects. We have some video from that procession earlier today for Officer Harris. For miles and miles, blue lights led the way along Highway 29, starting in Spartanburg, going through Lyman, and finally making it to the cemetery in Greer. All along the route, people lined the streets to pay their respects to Officer Harris, show support to his family and the entire law enforcement community.
They put their lives on the line every single time they put on that shield, they put on that uniform. I mean, you know, the community needs to recognize them too and show their support for them.
I would like to everyone to pray for his family, for peace from God, for all of understanding why this is tragic accident has happened to him, and that they'll just find peace in knowing he's in heaven.
So as you heard, there are a lot of emotion from folks who just lined the street today. Some of them had ties to law enforcement, but for the most part, they say they didn't know Officer Harris, but they just wanted to show up to do their part to say thanks. Live in Spartanburg, Laura Thomas, 7 News.
Laura, thank you for that. Giving blood is one of the big ways the community has remembered Officer Harris. This blood drive in his honor held Friday in Spartanburg brought in 222 units of blood. In all, more than 375 people have donated. Greer CPW is hosting a blood drive in Officer Harris's honor next Thursday afternoon. Officer Harris received blood himself in the hospital as he fought to survive.
Others have supported Harris and his family through what they're wearing. T-shirts printed by Under the Carolina Moon in Easley are for sale for about $15 each. Many of the officers at the funeral today were wearing these underneath their uniforms. Proceeds are going to the Harris family. And there's also a way that you can give online. A
Spartanburg police officer's wife arranged a GoFundMe page to help with the Harris family's expenses. So far, they have raised more than $12,000. As we wrap up our coverage of today's funeral, here's another look at the events that brought us to this day. Officer Jason Harris was injured in a motorcycle crash last Tuesday on Union Street in Spartanburg. He was on his way to a burglary call. Harris died Thursday at the hospital. He was 39 years old. He'd worked for the Spartanburg Police Department for more than 12 years.
In the days after his accident, there were blood drives, fundraisers by local businesses, and an outpouring of support from law enforcement and people from around the country. His funeral services were today at First Baptist Church in Spartanburg with burial in Greer at Wood Memorial Park. The full service can be watched online at WSPA.com. Well, the weather matched the mood today in Spartanburg. It has been dreary skies across the area for days now.
But a big change, one that you will like, is on the way. Storm Team 7 Chief Meteorologist Christy Henderson tracking sunshine. Christy.
Yeah, it does look like some sunshine is on the way for us tomorrow after 2 really gloomy days around here. And of course, it's been unseasonably cool as well. High temperatures stopping in the lower to mid 60s, and we're still socked into the cloud cover in most areas tonight as far as the rain is concerned. The upstate looking mostly dry after earlier widespread rain, but we still have some showers, even a few thunderstorms here right across the border into Tennessee. Those are tracking northeastward right along the border there in the mountains. It's 62 in Asheville, 66 degrees in Spartanburg, 66 in Lawrence, and 67 in Anderson. Here's your pinpoint planner for Spartanburg. We're going to look for fairly steady temperatures overnight. Some fog is going to be forming by early tomorrow morning. That's going to burn off, though, give us that sunshine, and that's going to be in a much warmer day. We'll talk more about that, and late week rain chances back in the forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Solicitors build their case against the man they say drove under the influence and killed a young woman. Details just ahead.
And later, curbing the opioid epidemic, how South Carolina schools are taking a proactive stance against drugs. Oconee County deputies have arrested a high school girl who they say was planning a Columbine-style attack. The arrest warrant says Amy Faust claimed to have a hit list of targets at West Oak High School. Students heard her making the threats during lunch last month and told a teacher. Faust now charged with disturbing schools.
A man authorities say was high on drugs when he was driving a car that killed a passenger last fall will stand trial. The judge made the decision after hearing key evidence at a preliminary hearing this afternoon. 7 News reporter Dave Jordan was in that courtroom. He's joining us now live with more. Dave.
Well, Tom, a state trooper testified that when he arrived on the scene of that deadly wreck, a Greer police officer told him 18-year-old Tyler Scraggs was driving the car and he was high on meth. Now, investigators say Scraggs was driving down Taylor Road going north in that direction when he lost control, hit an embankment and overturned. This happening in Greenville County. Now, the state trooper testified he was going at least 56 miles an hour in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. But Scraggs' defense attorney wanted the case thrown out after raising doubts as to whether Scraggs was actually the driver. Listen to this exchange that happened in court.
That's the ultimate question, and I'd ask the court to dismiss the warrant at this time.
Based primarily on the occupants of the vehicle identifying the defendant as the driver, I think we clearly met the standard for probable cause.
Judge Leila Foster decided there was enough evidence to proceed with the trial. A court date has not been set. Live in Greenville County, Dave Jordan, 7 News.
Dave, thank you. An upstate police department will soon roll out its new body cameras. The Greenville Police Department tells us it plans to receive body cameras tomorrow. City patrol officers and many uniformed officers will use the cameras. Each officer will be trained on the new devices by next month. Money for this new technology came from Greenville City Council and the U.S. Department of Justice.
Well, the tree pollen remains on the high side. Mold spores also on the high side. Grass is low and weed pollen is moderate. Predominant pollen, oak and pine. We have some weather changes on the way as far as the temperature is concerned. We're going to talk more about that in just a few minutes in the forecast.
The opioid epidemic, a serious problem across the country and here in South Carolina. State lawmakers are trying to slow it down.
A House subcommittee debated a bill late this afternoon that would require high school students to add some new lessons. Capitol reporter Robert Kittle tells you what they may be learning.
High school students may know about the opioid epidemic, but may not know much beyond that people are dying. Greenville Representative Eric Bedingfield wants to change that.
In my own child's life, it kind of began in much younger years in high school with going to things they called pill parties, not really knowing what they were taking, taking medicines from mom or daddy's medicine cabinet or grandma or grandpa's medicine cabinet and just taking turns taking pills.
That led to opioid addiction, and when he couldn't get the prescription pain pills anymore, he turned to heroin. He died last year after taking fentanyl that he thought was heroin. Representative Bedingfield is sponsoring a bill that would require all high school students to get instruction in their health classes on opioid abuse prevention. It'll be more than telling them just not to try it.
Give them some guidance to what to be on the lookout for and the dangers of taking that first step.
Since time is running out on the session and this bill has not passed the full House or the Senate, it's not likely it'll become law this year. But Representative Bedingfield says it still has a small chance, and if it waits until next year, he's still confident it will become law.
I hope the effect will be one less child, if not hundreds of children who don't take that first step and taking a pill that they don't know what it is, or abusing an opioid, or taking a pain pill from mom and daddy's medicine cabinet.
In Columbia, Robert Kittle, 7 News.
A House subcommittee passed that bill late this afternoon and now goes to the full House Education Committee.
All right, well, a lot of clouds around today. Of course, many of us got into some rain, especially early this morning. And we've had a few spotty showers, very light rain and drizzle that's been continuing in some spots this afternoon. But the trend is going to be for any showers to be ending tonight. Now, we do have a good possibility of some fog forming by tomorrow morning. And we'll break out into some sunshine, so it is going to be much warmer tomorrow. We'll be getting those 80s back. And it looks like another good chance for rain, including a few thunderstorms in the forecast for Friday. Here's a satellite map tonight. And you can see that we're still covered in the cloud cover over most areas, a little bit clearer over the northern part of Georgia. And as far as the rain coverage goes, that is way down compared to what it looked like earlier this morning when a large part of the upstate got into at least a little bit of rain. Still looking at some showers here in the high mountains of North Carolina, moving right along the Tennessee border. We have a front that's been down to our south and northeasterly winds that have reinforced the cloudy weather and the cool weather for us today. That's going to be kind of falling apart overnight. So our wind direction is going to be changing, and that's going to allow the really warm air that's been down to our south to make its way back into the western Carolinas. So in the morning, we'll look for a very mild start to the day. Watch out for some fog that will be in some areas. That will burn off. We'll get into the sunny breaks. And then with the daytime heating, we'll look for a few pop-up showers and storms, really favoring the mountains by tomorrow evening. Then getting into Friday morning, another warm start to the day. Winds will mainly be out of the south and southwest, so that's going to mean a very fast warm-up for us to readings that will actually be warmer than tomorrow. So we're talking about mid to upper 80s around the upstate for the high on Friday. Front's going to be trying to work its way a little closer to us. In the morning, it'll be over Tennessee. In the afternoon, it'll work its way into the mountains of North Carolina. So we'll look for scattered showers and thunderstorms to begin to impact our area starting late Friday afternoon and lasting into Friday night for the upstate. Here's a virtual skycast for Greenville. Again, plenty of cloud cover out there. The temperature, wow, nice and mild. 66 is the current reading, and we're not going to change too much from that reading through the course of the evening hours. Into tomorrow morning, we'll bottom out around 59, and 82 will be our high. Over into Asheville, where we topped out in the mid 60s today. We'll expect readings to cool down into the lower 60s by 9 o'clock, getting down into the 50s by tomorrow morning. And we'll see some sunshine, a chance of a pop-up shower, thunderstorm in the afternoon, and a high near 77. Here's a forecast for the next 72 hours. The warm weather's back, lower to mid 80s on the way for the next several days, mostly dry on Saturday. Scattered showers and thunderstorms with yet another cold front that will move in on Sunday, and that will help to dry us out and cool us off just a bit, but not bad for this time of the year. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we'll see highs in the 70s. And there's your mountain forecast down to around 54 for tonight, upper 70s on the way for the end of the week and into the first half of the weekend.
Thanks, Christy. Still ahead at 6, we'll let you know why the Clemson golf team heads into this weekend's ACC tournament ready to defend its title.
And find out what the Clemson baseball team has done so far this season in midweek games that should give the Tigers confidence tonight versus Georgia. Stay with us. We have sports coming up next.
And I'm Amy Wood, live at 7 on Main. Tonight at 7, there is a new scam you need to watch out for. How the scam artists are using social media to trick you into handing out your money. We have that story tonight on your only local news at 7.
One day after the NCAA put North Carolina back in its good graces, the ACC following today, moving all of its championships that were taken away from the state back there, including football as well as baseball and women's basketball. And good evening, everybody. Here at Clemson's Doug Kingsmore Stadium tonight, the Tigers try to end their only losing streak to this point in the season, having fallen in the last 2 games of their series at Florida State. They take on a Georgia team they beat earlier this year down in Athens. And Monty Lee's ball club just tries to continue its consistent play, especially at bat, where they're averaging over 6 runs per game, have a team on base percentage at nearly .400 that's among the top 5 in the league, and getting guys on has really been the key.
Pender and Reed in the 1 and 2 spot are doing a good job of getting on base, and you know, we've been moving the 3-spot around a little bit. We got Logan Davidson in there today in the 3-hole, a true freshman who's done a great job of getting on base and driving some baseballs. The thing that I've been very pleased with is we've gotten good production 6 down in our order. Guys that have been hitting for us at the bottom of the order done a good job.
And Lee notes that his teams take these midweek games pretty seriously. They've gone 23-1 in such contests since he took over last season. That's it from here at Clemson. Now to Todd Summers in the studio with more. Todd?
Last night in Columbia, it took 18th-ranked South Carolina more than 6 innings to get a hit. But when the Gamecocks finally got some runners on base in the 7th, Jacob Olson delivered a 2-run single to center to tie the game at 2. Then in the bottom of the 8th, Jonah Bride came through with the game-winning RBI double as South Carolina got the victory 3-2. The Gamecocks have the night off and will open a 3-game series at 9th-ranked Florida coming up on Thursday night. In minor league action, the Drive playing a 10 o'clock game this morning in Lexington. Top of the 2nd, Greenville gets the scoring started. Nick Lavello drives in a run with a double down the left field line. Greenville gets the win. Final score 4-2. Coming up this weekend on the Links, Clemson will look to defend its ACC Tournament Championship at Musgrove Mill in Clinton. As a team, the Tigers lead the nation with 6 tournament wins so far this year. Pendleton's Carson Young and others have been quite consistent, scoring better than 100 of 101 opponents this spring. Their approach has been relatively conservative by attacking greens, and they've also developed a mental edge.
I don't think we're afraid to win, and I think our guys proved that this spring. We won in great fields. We won in not so great fields. We won when we weren't expected to, and we won when we were expected to. That's a mindset.
The past couple of tournaments, I've been hitting it really well. Probably the best I have in a couple of years, honestly. I mean, I've been hitting so many greens, so many fairways. It's just a matter if I can make some putts for me. My putter's been off and on, but hopefully I've been practicing real hard, so hopefully it'll click this week for me.
Coach Penley confirmed today that one of the Tigers' top players, Temple's Austin Langdale, will miss a second straight tournament due to a wrist injury. He will be replaced by Josh Fickus. Now, that tournament's right down there in Clinton, ACC tournament, so it's pretty cool.
All right, Todd, thank you. It's good to hear the sunshine's coming back.
Yeah, it is tomorrow. Tonight we hold on to the clouds, and that's going to keep our temperatures from changing rapidly. So around Spartanburg, 60 degrees all the way into tomorrow morning.
All right, thanks, Christy, and thank you for joining us.
We're going to be back with you tonight at 7 and 11. Have a great evening. See you back here at 7.